Hey, yo, what's good, everyone? Twisted here with the Opener Sorcery, and today I want to go ahead and talk about alcohol, and essentially the nature of how it can be used spiritually, magically, whether you recognize that it's occurring or not when you go ahead and consume alcohol for those that do, in whatever amount, and pretty much just going ahead and putting that out there as far as my comprehension, understanding of it. So, pretty much, when it comes to consuming alcohol, right, there is a actual Arabic root to this, and that is the phrasing, the wording of Al-Kuhl. And with that, right, that is, when you translate it into English, that word means body-eating spirit. Now, in relation to that, right, it is, when we think of alcohol, right, we think of the terms like, spirits and all of that when you're going ahead and buying them, say, from liquor store, right, wines and spirits. And, the reason why that is called such is because, at least in, Arabic nations and highly, talked about in Islam itself, that, this notion of a body-eating spirit, and where that comes from is, the idea that if you go ahead and you consume alcohol, then it lowers your vibrational frequency, I should, pronounce properly. And it goes ahead and lowers it to where you are more so capable and receptive to having, negatively charged or lower vibrational entities, more denser energies come in and attach to you, and or say take your body on for a ride. If you want to say your conscious mind and your regular manner of consciousness goes ahead and is driving your vehicle of a body per se, that these entities can go ahead and attach itself to you, and all of that, because it's kind of like you're broadcasting a signal that kind of like is magnified and like magnetizes what have you if you're on that lower frequency band right there. And if someone is to get drunk, say blackout drunk in particular, where they don't necessarily remember anything, then it is believed that the lower spirits can go ahead and take over your body when you're blackout drunk. And the cases of people not remembering anything, and actions that you may not have done otherwise have been very much attributed to this sort of phenomena, back in older times. And depending on how religious or mystical someone is now, they may go ahead and attribute it to that. Now, of course, in modern Western society, a lot of that has to do, like our main societal perception has to do with neurochemistry and or chemicals and substances themselves going ahead and causing this change without any sort of spiritual, mystical, magical, influence, what have you, on us, right? And the thing about that is that I think it's both in tandem that we need to go ahead and recognize, right? It's not one or the other, it is both. That both of these things are simultaneously occurring. And I will go ahead and say this, right? That while thus far I've gone ahead and put a negative spin on the use of alcohol, right? And how lower charge entities can go ahead and be attached to you, just like anything else, alcohol is a tool. Now, I don't really go ahead and drink alcohol too much by my own admission, but that said, it's not as if I've never consumed it before. And the thing about it is that in doing so, right, I'm definitely not straight edge, is the point, is what I'm trying to say. And that, if you choose to go ahead and use it for recreational purposes or anything like that, so be it. And, for better or for worse, that is a person's own decision, and you do what you do, and all of that. Now, granted, right, me going ahead and putting that caveat and having the primary sort of like negative impetus that has been attached to it by like Islam and such, there could potentially be positive uses for this as a tool, right? So if you're going ahead and opening yourself up, making yourself more so receptive and all of that, it could potentially be utilized for entities that you want to bring in, what have you, or just make it more so easy for you to do so. Now, granted, this is up for your own discernment and research and or experimentation and that sort of thing, but it is, of course, the nature of substances such as, weed, cannabis, or, any other sort of mind-altering substances, whether it be psychedelics or anything like that, in which you can go ahead and utilize them potentially as tools, or you could abuse them, as many people do, But alas, that is essentially the root of where the term alcohol comes from and the connotation that has been attached to it and such. So a bit of food for thought, not really anything much more past just going ahead and presenting that, and all in all, right, like just my takeaway from this, whether it pertains to alcohol or anything else, just be wary of what you consume and what effect that has on you, not just physically in terms of gaining or losing weight, or if you're going ahead and you're having a fun night and you're drinking, that you don't do too much to drink and drive, or get blackout drunk and then maybe go ahead and drunk text to actually probably shouldn't, or go ahead and punch somebody in the face, or whatever the case may be, right? It's all about moderation. It's all about being careful and mindful of what you in fact consume when it comes to liquids, when it comes to solitary food, when it comes to the media that you consume, and all of that. So pretty much just be aware of what it is that you're putting into your body, because that affects who you are and then what you will put out yourself. But aside from all that, this has been Twisted with the Opener Sorcery, and stay frosty, neguses. Peace.